Welcome to Conversations Live, where we bring you the best in music, books, entertainment, and more. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 16 years of broadcasting, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience and those tuning in online. We're glad you all could be with us as well. I was just saying to my next guest, it's hard to believe, but it's actually been 2 years since Michael Mayhall has been on our program. He's a director who's been able to bring to life some great projects, including the Emmy-nominated BRONX SIU. He's actually nominated for Best Director this year. We'll talk to him about that. What it's been like for him to see the response of this series, really the complicated cast that's able to make up this great ensemble, and then of course let you guys know how to stay connected with all the other great things that Mike is doing. If you guys are not catching up on BRONX SIU, of course we'll let you know where you can be able to find it. But Mike, welcome back to the program. Glad to have you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be back.
Look, the pleasure is definitely all mine. So, when we first talked back in 2018, you were gearing up, of course, for Season 1. Now you have Season 2.
Wow.
Also being nominated for Daytime Emmys. You had Season 1 nominated. You're nominated. How does this ride feel, Mike, to have had this idea and to be able to see the way that people are responding to it?
It's overwhelming. It's just amazing. Because it doesn't feel like 2 years. Like in one way, it just feels like the blink of an eye. Like I feel like I just stepped on set and we just started rolling. But yeah, looking back, it's been a ride. It really has been. It's been great. I love it. I'm so happy that people are responding to the show.
Well, they definitely are, and I think what is so great, and I thought about this because I've not only been able to stay connected with you, Mike, through social media, we'll get into that, but I've also been able to meet for our TV show and web series, meet a lot of the cast in person and be able to share with them. I think it's so amazing, not only, of course, the cast, but also these storylines. Do you think that really has been the key, that you've had this great marriage of talented cast members bringing to life this really intricate story?
Oh yeah, it was definitely like a beautiful marriage. We just out and got just an amazingly talented cast, and I was able to craft some storylines that are they are a little intricate in the sense. They're entertaining, but you have to connect with it. You have to put your brain to it. And the actors loved it, and we just jumped in. So I'm just blessed, really. It's really I have to give it to the cast and crew. I'm just sometimes I feel like a spectator. I can't believe I'm watching it all unfold.
Right. So take us back. Did you know going into this? Did you know with BRONX SIU, Mike, that you did have something that you felt like was special?
I think I'd have to go all the way back to Season 1. I can remember standing around with my producer and partner, Dan Garcia, and just watching everyone set up, and I was late, and just remember both of us just sort of at the same time came to the understanding that this was going to be something bigger than we had set out to make. Because initially, we were just thinking, is this going to be a small web series, and we're just going to, it's our first time stepping into the arena, but we just both went for it. And we ended up making, the first season was 8 1-hour long television episodes, and then Season 2 was 6 1-hour television episodes. I think we had a feeling that it was going to be bigger, but I never, ever would have thought that I would be sitting here almost 2 years later nominated for an Emmy for Best Director. Like, that was just not even on the radar, We just wanted to make a good story. We wanted to make a story that people liked and could be entertained by and wanted to tune back in next week. That was the goal. But, yeah, so here we are.
Yeah, here we are. And I think, again, that is the beautiful thing about this journey. I thought about when I was prepping for this segment that, for yourself, you're in such a great place, though, Mike, because, here you are, you're Emmy nominated as a director. And I should say, what we have definitely seen when it comes to digital drama series or anything now that's available thanks to new media, there's such a wide space there. How have you benefited from that?
Yeah.
Because I think because you have less constraints, it must definitely give you more creative freedom. Has that been one of the things that's played in your favor?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. So we were real fortunate in the sense that we got to Well, let me back up. So I think with the digital space, it allows people definitely more creative freedom, because you're able to take a single story and a single idea, and you don't have to necessarily run it through all sorts of different layers. Like, I'm not dealing with producers from a network and guest directors and a showrunner. Like, because I'm the showrunner. Like, I don't have to necessarily pass off my scripts or my actors upon everybody. It's just a small core group of people that make up our production team, and we are making all the decisions together. So the decisions are tighter, so the story stays tighter, so the actors can focus better. And I think that sort of, for us, has created a better show, a more entertaining show. And I thought I lost the second half of the question because I got focused on that, so I apologize.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But do you think that kind of did give you that freedom, though, that so many people yearn for when it comes to storytelling? 100%.
And I think that Dan and I were blessed in that we could just create the story that we wanted to tell. And so it was just a single voice. The first season was Dan and I, and then Dan handed the reins over to me for second season, so I put it all to pen. And we were the ones that went back and forth over what made it into the script and ultimately onto camera. But it really is, I had so much more freedom to tell a story the way that I thought it should be told. And I feel like people responded to that. Especially in the second season, because it was much more. Everything was intertwined. You couldn't go two scenes without another character bumping into somebody and wreaking havoc. It was just this beautiful spider web of storylines and plots. And I just don't know if we would have been able to have gotten away with that on something that was more structured like network television. So the digital world has been very good to us.
I had an opportunity actually in 2018, Mike, after you and I talked when I was visiting Los Angeles for the TV show Cyrus Webb Presents, had a chance to sit down with Jillian Ferry, with Keelan Ellis, had a great conversation with Eddie Davenport, Shanti Lowry. And, of course, they all were singing your praises. I think we're going to repost those interviews. But then even Brian White had a chance to speak with him, Miguel Nunez. They all talked about why they wanted to be a part of this. And a big part of that comes down to one word when it came to you, Mike, and that was trust. So I want to talk to you about that. How does it feel to have these actors trust you when it comes to telling a story that they resonate with, that they believe an audience will resonate with?
Man, I think I couldn't have said it better myself. Trust, and to get trust, you have to give it, So we hire these beautiful actors, and all I want them to do is to be the best they can. And I see one of my jobs as a director when dealing with actors is to make them the best that they can be in the moment, in the scene, in the episode, in the series. And it's all I want. And so I do need their trust to sort of let me mold that performance. But it's a two-way street, It's a give and take, They trust me and I trust them, But to have people like Miguel and Shanti and Brian, who are veterans of this business, who are just, in my opinion, just amazing. I can't say enough good things about them. To just give over and to trust me was really just overwhelming. It was just wonderful, which only made me want to work harder to reward that trust and make a better series and to make sure we got the shot and to make sure we got the edit. So it really just started feeding on itself. At some point in time, you click in and you feel this energy on set and everybody's on the same page, and we just go for it and go for it and go for it. And just we try to sustain that. I try to sustain that through the whole shooting process into the editing world, to be honest with you.
Right.
But it's humbling also. It really is. It's just it really is. It's humbling to have that from them. And it's I love my cast so much.
I actually
great.
said to the cast, Mike, that there's so much realism, I think, in BRONX SIU, especially now, unfortunately, when we kind of look at where we are in 2020, the way that law enforcement is being analyzed. I think you gave us such a beautifully flawed cast when it comes to these characters that they're bringing to life, right? While they're doing a job, but also trying to make sense of their lives as well. And I think that's what makes this show so timely. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to be speaking with daytime Emmy Director nominee Michael Mayhall. We're talking with him not only about the success of the series, BRONX SIU. So I want to talk about the post you made about this on Instagram, Mike, because as you said, and I can definitely attest that Mike does not post a lot because I follow him on Instagram.
No, I don't. I don't.
But you posted about this, Mike. So, I mean, what was that like for you to craft those words and to really let it sink in that you are now a Emmy-nominated director?
Oh, that one post that I made, right? I think I made a few. It was, I think I said it was just sort of overwhelming and humbling, and I didn't think it was going to affect me, the way it did. And because when I first got nominated and the show got nominated, my first thought was that it's because of the cast. Like I don't really I love performing as a side of me. That's an actor, and I love performing, but I don't necessarily desire the limelight. My first thought was I was nominated because the cast gave me and the crew gave me their trust and their support, and that allowed me to do my job to the best of my ability. So I think my first round of posts were all about the cast. Like I was saying thank you to this person, thank you to that person. So then when it finally came time for me to do it, it was kind of like pulling teeth because I was just I feel like I would be bragging about it, but as my girlfriend told me, she's like, it's okay to be proud of your accomplishment.
Right.
So posting about it was I was just trying to be as honest as I could, and just be truthful, and that it's humbling and it's overwhelming, and I didn't think it was going to affect me because I just never thought about it. It was just, I just wanted to tell stories, I just want to tell a story, and I want people to like it, and just to sort of have someone, my peers, I guess you could say, acknowledge and see that within me is really just rewarding. Kind of makes me feel like maybe I'm on the right track. Gotcha. Like all those hours that you put in grinding, not just on this show, but you go all the way back to the beginning of my career, are kind of worth it. It's like someone's going, yeah, you stick with it, man. Maybe you're gonna be successful at this, or at least good enough to get by, I suppose.
Right. Well, when I was visiting the East Coast, Mike, also with my TV show, I had a chance to sit down with Jamel Wilson, who also, of course, was a part of BRONX SIU. And his post on your post, he said, when talking about congratulating you, he said, you earned everything you have received by releasing quality work. Y'all deserve this. Y'all got to win this round of Emmys. You all deserve it. And it goes to what you actually say in that post, and I think there's one thing that I really keyed in on I wanted to bring up. You said the cast and crew, your dedication and determination just drove me to work harder. So I want to talk about that part for a moment, Mike, because I think it's so great to be able to have people around you who push you. I expect that of my friends and those in my circle to not just tell me, hey, you're doing a great job, but to challenge me to be better. What is it like for you to be able to do what you love, but then to have people around you who are not only rooting for you, but pushing you?
I don't think I would be where I am without them. I mean, even like Jamel, who came on as sort of a day player extra, and then he was so dedicated into the role that he did. I told him, man, if I get a season 2, I am finding a way to bring you back, and I was able to do that and keep that promise. It's what is it like to have those people like that around me? It's great, and I think artistically, not just artistically, but then you need people like that. You need people who are going to keep you honest and make you want to be better than you were. Make you want to be better tomorrow than you were today, and to keep striving and pushing forward. Because let's be honest, if we're not trying to better ourselves, if we're not trying to make it the best we possibly can, then there's really, we should be doing something else. The cast and crew were constantly wanting more and wanting to do more, which only made me want more. And my energy, I think I feed off of that. So if someone gets excited, I get excited, and then I just want to do go. and I really wouldn't be where I am without that. All the way back to when I first started directing. It was my friends who basically were like, Mike, you want to do this. Quit stalling. We have your back. You're not going to fail. Just go out and do it. So I made my first feature, Jake's Road. And I did that because I knew, I guess, I had the support of people around me. It's a big enterprise to step into, the directing chair, and especially then to write something and have all these people sort of looking at you and trusting, like you said, that you can pull it off, and that you, at the end of the day, when that last edit is hit and you turn it in, that it's what everybody is hoping for, and I hope that we exceed those expectations. So I feel an immense sense of I hate to use the word pressure, but that's the only one that comes to mind, that I want to succeed not only for myself, but for those who are putting all that faith and trust in me, who are saying, okay, let's do this. But I'd be nowhere without them, for sure.
I remember, it's so funny, Mike, before the world changed in March of this year, and we all kind of had to retreat to our own little corners. Ironically, in February, I was back in Los Angeles. That was my last stop before I had to go into shelter in place. And I sat down once again with Shanti because she had just won the award for BRONX SIU at the African Film Festival. And so we sat down with each other. It was so funny. It was so funny. And then 2 weeks later, the world kind of shut down. But I thought it was interesting when I sat down with her then. She was, again, talking about the show and what she loved about bringing Yolanda to life, but also the fact about the what's next. Because I asked her about that. How do you kind of compartmentalize what you're doing and think about what's to come? So I have to ask you, here you are now, a daytime Emmy nominee. That is such a great thing. Does it put pressure on you when you think about the what's next?
Actually, I get excited about it. There's a side of me that hopes that this opens up. It's so horrible because it's the time of COVID where there are no doors that are open, but, metaphorically, what I'm saying? Like, I can't walk into an office. So I hope that this opens up opportunities for Dan Garcia and myself that allow us to continue to tell the stories. And I don't feel pressure in the sense of like, oh no, now I have to be better, because I'm always feeling like I have to do it better. Like I'm always personally challenging myself. So in that sense, I don't feel pressured, but I'm excited that there could be opportunity. And when I get excited, I want to write more, and I want to direct more, I want to produce, and I want to take everybody who's been with me, and I want to keep going down that road together. So I'm more excited about the potential once things get going back again than I am anything else. And hopefully everybody will feel that excitement from me, and they'll get excited, and we'll just start feeding on each other.
Well, I believe that is. I think people are going to be excited to be able just to do anything these days, Mike. I think that is the thing. I think especially for creators, right? Creators love to create, so I know that they will definitely appreciate that. With, of course, BRONX SIU, there's already people wondering. For those who have not seen it, of course, they can go to places, streaming services like our partner at Amazon.com to be able to see seasons 1 and 2 there, and other places have it as well. Are you feeling any pressure when it comes to season 3?
No. We, Shanti and Brian and I have been sitting down and writing down ideas and outlining them for season 3. We are waiting from UMC to see if there will be a season 3. We're keeping our fingers crossed. It's hard to tell with anything right now. So that's another place you can go catch us. It's at umc.tv. They'll have all the seasons up there. But we're hopeful. We're pinning out ideas for a season 3. And the biggest debate for me right now with the season 3 is that kind of so much time has passed in the real life between season 2 and season 3, especially with COVID and the Black Lives Matter protests and things of that nature. We're trying to figure out where our story goes in the story timeline, because technically season 3 would start before all this, but I'm kind of wondering if we should maybe current events sort of. So there's some debates on that, but we have a lot of ideas, and I like a lot of them. I'm trying to push the series into a place that I think no one is going to see coming. And if we do it right, I think people are going to go along for the ride and they're going to like it. But I can't talk about it because it's all still kind of hush-hush.
Well, look, it gives us something to look forward to for sure. Again, everyone, Michael Mayhall, or Mike Mayhall, has been our guest. We've been talking with him not only about this amazing journey he's been on, but to have now 2 seasons of a show, BRONX SIU, both seasons Daytime Emmy nominated, including himself this year being nominated for Best Director. You guys have to watch this show. It's such a layered, complex adventure with such a great cast, great storylines, and I think a little something for everyone for sure. As Mike and I both mentioned, you can find it in a lot of different great places, including, as he said, on UMC.tv, so definitely take advantage of that. Mike, how can they stay connected with you?
I'm, the best way for me is I'm Michael Mayhall at Instagram, and I don't post a whole lot, unfortunately, but I do every now and again. I'll drop hints about what's going on, or my latest food that I'm eating. But I do tend to stay in touch with more people that way than I do Facebook. I think that's the easiest way. Michael Mayhall on the old Instagram.
Well, Mike, really appreciate the time, man. So happy for you and the rest of the cast, and definitely looking forward to our next conversation together, man.
I am too. Real quick before we go, Cyrus, I just asked, how are you doing, and how are you holding up during COVID and all of this? Are you taking care of yourself and everything?
I am taking care of myself. I'm going to be honest with you. This has been probably the busiest I've been for a while. I mean, it's so funny, Mike, and I've been sharing with our audience. Of course, people are looking for platforms like ours, and I have the privilege of not only being on the radio here in my home state of Mississippi, but also as part of the iHeartRadio family and ABC News Radio. So, of course, a lot of talent are looking for places because they can't go to red carpets, they can't do other things to promote their projects. Right. So they're finding little old me, and that's helping. That's helping me. So that has been a great help for sure.
I've enjoyed your positive affirmations on Instagram. I think they're great.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Well, look, I'm looking forward to our sit-down together. I'll make sure to have hand sanitizer and all of that. So looking forward to be able to sitting down with you in person for sure soon. And definitely, Mike, you stay safe and continue to celebrate, man. You definitely deserve it.
Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Hey, glad to do it. Glad to do it always. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's make it a great one.